Welcome back to Coding with Zach. In our last tutorial, we made two objects, Tortuga and Donatello, and then we used some methods to have the Donatello object move around in the world Tortuga and do some fun stuff, which is basically go forward and then turn right. So you can kind of see we already have the makings of a square in a lot of ways. And if we wanted to make a square, we could basically just do this, just have them go forward and turn right. But if we had to draw a lot of squares, it would be kind of painful to continually write out this code or even to copy and paste it. So what we could do in Java is we could encapsulate this into a method, which is one of the nice things about Java, is this whole encapsulation idea. In order to do that, we're going to go into the book classes where the turtle object is, and then go ahead and scroll all the way down, and we're going to make a new method. So to do that, we're going to use public void because it doesn't return anything, and then we're going to use the name of the method. So in this case, we're going to call it draw square. And we want to be able to control the size of the square that's drawn, so we're going to pass in one parameter that's going to be an integer, and we're going to call this integer size. And fairly straightforward, we're just going to essentially take the code that we had for Donatello and effectively paste it in. There's a couple differences though. In the code, we are continually calling this Donatello object, but we want to be able to use this method on any object. So rather than put Donatello in here, and if we had another object, we want to be able to use it. So we're going to replace Donatello with the word this. And what that essentially does is allows whatever object we call this method on to basically get moved around. So let's say we had another turtle. We are going to call him Turtle. Raphael, obviously. We need the rest of the Ninja Turtles. We're going to put him at 200 in Tortuga. And let's get rid of these. We want to be able to call this method on Raphael too. So we want to be able to say draw square and then pass in our parameter 50 again maybe. If we had all Donatellos right here, we wouldn't be able to effectively differentiate between which object we want to call the method on. So we use this, and then when we use a period, Java knows that, hey, this method, we want to call it on the object that precedes it, or this object effectively. Or if we were to use it on our Donatello object, it knows that we want to call it on this object. So that's where the this comes from. The other part of a method is being able to pass in a parameter if that's something that you want to do with your method. So in this case, we're going to replace all of the 50s with size. And when we call the method and we pass in a number, it's going to replace the forward size with whatever number we pass in. So if we say, when we call it, that we're going to use 80, all of these size variables are going to get replaced with 80s. And we are going to save this, and then let's have a really big square. We're going to compile and run it, and hey, that looks good. Our turtle hit the upper bound. Might have gone a little too crazy on the size of the square in that one. Let's try it again. And there you go. So you have each of the turtles drawing different size squares based on the parameter that we passed. That's pretty much it for methods. Thanks so much. Don't forget to like and subscribe, In the next tutorial, I believe we are going to, let me see what we're going to talk about next time. We're going to talk about arrays. Oh, so that'll be pretty fun. There's some fun stuff that you can do with arrays, but we'll get into it next time. Thanks so much. Take care.